Okay, hi. You've got Michael Preuss, Jessica Holleran, Stephen McGinnis, and Javier Garcia on the call here. We wanted to share our plan of an MVC1 redesign for the homepage. And yeah, I can share my screen. This is part of growth marketing, the digital experience team effort. So we have an epic created marketing design system homepage redesign MVC1. Our goal here is to iteratively redesign the homepage of our marketing site. We have what does good look like and how we're measuring success and key contributors. So you can see Stephen McGinnis is the design system lead. Jessica Holleran is the product design lead. Javier or Javi is the front end engineering lead. We're going to connect with Matt Salick on creative direction and connect with Erica on content. And then I'll be leading the digital experience overall. And we have associated issues here, so feel free to jump in, comment with any questions. We are looking to have an MR complete, ready for review by next Wednesday. That's a week tomorrow. And our plan is, if we're getting positive feedback, to add to the merge train the Tuesday after that on November 10th. So we thought we would individually go through kind of each stream of work. We've broken it into UX, UI, and engineering. So we're going to start with engineering. Javi, do you want to walk through our plan over the next 2 weeks?
Yeah, sure thing. So in order to make sure that we hit the deadline, I wanted to make sure that I set myself up for success. So that includes making sure that I understand the underlying technology stack. And that just makes sure that we can move as quickly as possible. And that I'll be doing that tomorrow. And so then before the end of this week, I want to make sure that I can collaborate with the UI person to make sure that we agree on what's possible, given that I better understand the limitations of the static site generator website. Given that we have that in place, I can start to make the changes themselves. Because we want to get the changes out by next Wednesday, I wanted to give myself enough time to make sure that when something inevitably goes wrong, I have enough time and buffer zone to fix any issues that come up. Something that's important to reach that milestone as well is to make sure that everything is up to QA standards, making sure that it's accessible from various different device sizes, different browsers, different operating systems, such as like Windows, Mac, etc. After putting that MR on next Wednesday, I want to make sure that I go through and comb through the existing code and make sure that is in a consumable state for us in the future and make sure that it is maintainable. What that means is, for instance, documenting the code. That's like a good example of what that means. And making sure that the code is modular. There's this concept in code called don't repeat yourself. So I will be trying my hardest to make sure that I stick to those standards.
Awesome, thanks, Javi.
Of course.
Stephen, over to you here.
Yeah, so part of the underlying hypothesis behind this is that we're trying to leverage as much of the Pajama design system as we can. So what we're doing is creating a Figma assets which have their source in the original Pajama system. So what we've decided to do is to create our own foundation package for the homepage. So we've broken this out into two issues. So the first one being creating a foundation of grid, type, and color. And then the additional one on top of that will be to look at icons and buttons as well. These are the more prevalent interactive assets on the homepage. So the hope is that with these, we can begin to test out some baseline ideas for the design system overall that can apply to the site en masse, and the foundations package being the more crucial of that. So intend to work very closely with Javi within an environment to see how this all looks live in code, as well as creating Figma assets that we can then reference ourselves along with the other designers and other partners throughout the team.
Awesome, thank you. And Jess, maybe I'll just press refresh here.
Yeah, so like we said, we're aiming to get this whole thing out by next Tuesday. But from a UX perspective, that means we have to get things out even sooner, and we're already working on an accelerated pace. So some of these things I'm aiming to get to Javi, our engineer, by Thursday. So I'm trying to do all of the reading up on the research for best practices and competitive analysis, and aiming to get some insights into what our competitive advantage is as GitLab, so we can really emphasize that on the site, and hopefully get some form of design assets, probably like a grayscale wireframe, something very simple and kind of blocky out, just to get our kind of architecture going for the site. And then we might have to make some trade-offs by next week. So we have a lot of fires in the poker right now. So we're getting metrics on our current site just so we can benchmark them and then measure ourselves against it later and see whether we've succeeded or failed with our improvements. In addition, we are hoping to get some copywriting going for the new homepage. Whether or not that's all going to come in time is questionable. I'm also hoping to get some time with some of our sales team members to see how they're selling our site, so that we can kind of reiterate that with the homepage and make sure we're kind of saying the same thing. But whether or not that stuff will happen by next Tuesday is a little questionable right now. I'm starting it all, and we're all kind of working at the same time on all of these things. But like I said, it's a very accelerated timeline. So we're going to do our best to get something going. We're going to work with Steven on the UI probably for next Monday, and then hopefully knock the whole thing out by next Tuesday.
Awesome. Thank you. So yeah, as you can tell, this is a very aggressive timeline, and we wanted to set that in an aggressive way so that it forces us to make trade-offs. It allows us to get some reps in, to start to get into a cadence. And our goal is to really take a rapid iteration approach to this effort and learn, how quick can we go? Do we need a little bit more time for the next round, rather than starting the other way and starting too softly with too much buffer? We thought we'd kind of stress our process a little bit more, so that we're just adding time when needed. And of course, creating that urgency. If we have something we like and we know that it's better, we're going to merge it. But we'll obviously start to get in flow and start to learn how to make it even better. So that'll allow us to just get into a good rhythm. So we're excited about the work. Feel free to hit us up on Slack. The channel, let me just pull that up. Marketing-website team is a good spot to get us, or growth marketing. And we'll keep the issue and epics updated as we proceed. Thank you very much.